These guests got served, and they didn't even realize it.
And so we've made white women's bodies, white male bodies, the norm, and we've made everything else less human, less beautiful, less real. And so when we say good genes are the ones that—
What a load of crap.
Piers Morgan's Uncensored produces some wild moments, thanks to the wide range of guests that he brings on the show. But every now and then, someone pushes a bit too far, and Piers wastes no time putting them in their place.
This is your shtick, and I get that this is your shtick.
You racialized everything, Joy. Come on. It was your shtick.
It is your shtick, and everyone knows that it is.
Shtick.
Piers, we
people got bored with it.
That's why today's video is not to be missed. So buckle up, because you're in for a treat.
What's your problem with this ad? I mean, I just saw Sydney Sweeney looking hot, selling jeans. What memo didn't I get?
I would love to live in a world where more people would have the privilege to look at this ad and simply see an ad for great jeans, but that's not the world that we live in, and we live in the world that is marked with a lot of cultural baggage. So when I saw this ad as a marketer, as somebody who works with agencies and brands on issues of culture and cultural relevance, I was frankly angered. It is no surprise to me that it was picked up by audiences that reacted in the way that they did. And research shows, even though obviously Gen Z are in themselves a diverse group, they're also generally, on average, more progressive leaning and, of course, chronically online.
Crazy? You mean crazy,
Anastasia?
I mean,
Anastasia, we haven't had you on Uncensored before. I didn't really understand a word of what you've just said. Are you this much fun at parties, or do you have a different persona?
I would love
there?
it if you weren't disrespectful to me.
It is hard to believe, but this young woman has a PhD in cultural studies from Duke University, where she was trained as a critical theorist in the study of U.S. society with a focus on race and gender. That tells you everything you need to know about her take on the American Eagle ad. She kept making blanket statements with almost no depth. For instance, she tossed out terms like cultural baggage as a justification for her criticism. Okay, we have cultural baggage, and are we supposed to carry it around forever like a designer purse? But her comments were nothing compared to those of the eternal victim, Marc Lamont Hill.
Historically, we have only normalized white people, and so we've made white women's bodies, white male bodies, the norm. And we've made everything else less human, less beautiful, less real. And so when we say good genes are the ones that—
What a load of crap. Honestly, I'm sorry, Mark. If I may jump in on my own show, what a load of crap. I saw Beyonce do a jeans ad. Everybody drooled over it. I loved it. Thought she looked hot when she did. Right? I mean, what are you talking about, man? This is... Let me ask you a straight question. Let me ask you a straight question. Does Sydney Sweeney have bad genes? Yes or no?
No. I don't think she has bad genes.
So she has good genes? Does she have good genes?
No. Again, you're trying for these gotchas. If you
she doesn't have good or bad genes?
The whole point is to argue that good and bad genes itself is a bad idea. It's a racist idea.
Why can't you have good genes, Mark?
Why is it racist?
I mean, where do you even begin with this? Look, some genes are worse than others. That's just biological reality. And no, we're not talking about appearance or physical traits here. We're talking about genetic markers that make people more susceptible to certain diseases. Should we pretend those genes aren't bad just to avoid hurting Mark's feelings? Give me a break. What's wild is that he didn't stop there, and he managed to make things worse saying this.
Because those things are racially coded. In other words, if I say that straight hair is good genes or blonde hair is good genes, and no, I'm not after watching an ad Googling someone to figure out their natural roots. You'd be shocked to know how many people don't do that. If I'm doing these things and I see your eye color and your hair as a sign of your good genes, then that means someone who has a different hair or eye color doesn't have good genes. And the last thing I'll say is, if you look historically at ads, at culture,
it doesn't though, does it? Calm down. Calm down. It doesn't actually mean that.
No.
Hang on. No, I will speak on my own show. So just calm down.
I'm asking you not to be condescending.
Stop being so precious. If I say I've got good genes from my mother because I have good skin and I've got blue eyes, so what?
So what color eyes are bad genes? If someone has bad genes, what would their hair or skin look like?
I don't think any are bad. I didn't see anybody from American Eagle saying that anybody else is.
No one said anything.
No one from just to be clear. Hang on. Nobody from American Eagle was making any comparison. Nobody said somebody else's eye color or skin color was wrong or bad or anything negative.
That kind of logic only lands with someone who lives in a constant state of self-victimization, and Marc made that crystal clear on this episode. He kept interrupting nonstop, cutting off Piers every time a question was coming his way, then turned around and whined that he wasn't getting a chance to speak. Meanwhile, he was talking more than anyone else on the panel. Next, we have Joy Reid, getting told to her face the real reason her show was canceled. And let's just say it was pure fireworks.
I mean, look, let's be honest. I don't think you were fired after all those years because of your skin colour or because you're a black woman. I think you were fired because your show just got increasingly unpopular. It happens all the time in TV. That's why you got let go. Why play the race card?
First of all, I love the fact that your play the race card is your version of the race card. You literally are so fixated on trying to racialize conversations with me, Piers, that I find it actually quite charming.
You racialize more conversations in your tenure at MSNBC than any host in history.
All right, Marc. All right, Piers. And the bottom line is you take an entire conversation that I had with Marc Lamont Hill and pick the bits that you can racialize because this is your shtick. And I get that this is your shtick.
You racialize everything, Joy. Come on.
I get it. I understand this is your shtick, Piers. And listen, game recognizes game. I get this is your game.
It's not my shtick.
And the bottom line,
it was your shtick.
It is your shtick. And everyone knows that it is. Piers, we
people got bored with it.
Exactly. After Joy Reid got fired, she and plenty of progressives quickly blamed it on her race. Some even went as far as saying Trump had something to do with it. But the fact is, people were just tired of the constant identity politics that she forced into every single conversation. It didn't matter what the topic was, Joy found a way to spin it into a race or a gender issue. She was basically Sunny Hostin on steroids. Piers also had Michael Knowles as a guest during this show, and needless to say, he did not hold back.
So, Joy, I've actually got Michael Knowles waiting in the wings.
Great.
Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
No.
Okay, well, we've got Michael there. Michael, anything you want to say to Joy?
Yes, wonderful to be here, Joy. Very nice to meet you. And I guess I would agree with Joy's take. People watched the show in the past tense, and now there's no longer a market for that absolutely vile content. And I think that's good for the culture broadly. And now we can all chat on Pierce's show.
And by the way, white grievance is very good for your bottom lines. It's very good for your bank accounts. And so having me here to be able to continue to traffic in that is your shtick. That is what you do.
First of all,
that's
Joy,
what you do, Piers.
I have
and
to
so
correct you.
it's great. And I'm sure you find it delightful and fun to say it. But the reality is, Piers, that is what you all traffic in.
I have to correct you.
Well, first of all, I'm not a white American. I think as my accent may reveal.
Well, I know that you're European.
And I'm
British.
My only grievances are
and secondly, I don't think anyone. Michael, I will let you respond, but I don't think any host in the history of cable news has waged more grievance than Joy Reid.
Just to give you an example, during election night, as the results started rolling in and it became more and more clear that Trump was on track to win, Joy went into full meltdown mode, blaming one demographic group after another for the left's loss. It was a mess. And that moment exposed something a lot of people had already started to notice. Joy's entire gimmick revolves around identity politics, without having anything of substance to add to the conversation. The network may not say it out loud, but the writing was on the wall. People had had enough, and the ratings spoke for themselves. Let me know in the comments which one of these clips was your favorite, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.